I found this really cool snippet from Vice called Keepers of the Caliphate. And it's about Daesh, it's about ISIS, and the remaining small pockets that actually exist that nobody really knows about. They're not really talking about it in the media. Obviously with COVID and the quarantine and the stay home and the wear a mask and the blah, 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 all that craziness, they kind of lost their traction, if you will, haven't been trending, but they're still around. As a Lebanese person, I witnessed, even my family back in Lebanon witnessed the damage and the tremendous impact ISIS had on the entire region. In fact, Lebanon was a part of their strategy. Lebanon was a part of the Islamic State that they were trying to build. And Lebanon said, no, no, no. So I think personally, having family members that were affected directly by that oppression, that entry into Lebanon, I think that it was a combination of resistance and also the people not accepting them so quickly, which is why they did not last in Lebanon as they did in other countries. So I think this is in Syria. I'm not sure, but I'm excited to see this snippet. We got to see what they've been up to. The Keepers of the Caliphate. I mean, the Caliphate is an old term. It's a political term from the Islamic State from the ancient times, but it definitely does not hold true to the same definition in present day as it did back then. Deir ez-Zor, Syria. All right. So I think she's following
American special forces who were carrying out a routine patrol of an area which not so long ago was taken over by ISIS.
Ah, that's interesting. So she's with American forces that are still in Syria. Not a lot of people know that there's still quite a few forces left in Syria. Despite the majority of Daesh being completely obliterated, there still are some remaining pockets, and it seems like the US still has a presence in the area, which is interesting.
It's now been over a year since the group lost all of its territorial control, but they still remain a threat, which is why they're carrying out patrols like this.
Ooh, they're following close. They're following, oh, they're like, yo, we see you. We're not even gonna hide anymore. And this is probably showing the desperation and just the willingness of them to continue fighting. When you think about the term Keepers of the Caliphate, it's kind of like the last line of defense, the very last, most loyal. Even when the money ran out, the support ran out from whoever has been supporting and financing these people, it seems like there's some headstrong and stubborn members that are still around, and they're not afraid to show their colors.
Last October, US President Donald Trump abruptly ordered the complete withdrawal of all American troops in eastern Syria. This was quickly reversed, and today a few hundred US military personnel remain in the country, working alongside the Syrian Democratic Forces to protect key oil installations and continue the fight against ISIS.
It's funny how she had the order of that objective to protect key oil installations. Oh, and by the way, we're also fighting ISIS because that's the boogeyman, which they are, don't get me wrong, but it's just interesting how the oil reserves seem to be more of a priority than anything. Syrian Democratic Forces, who is that? I wasn't entirely sure because that's not the government. That's not a nationally recognized entity, I don't think, in Syria. So the Syrian Democratic Forces is an alliance in the Syrian civil war composed primarily of Kurdish, Arab, and Assyrian militias, as well as some smaller Armenian, Turkmen, and Chechen forces. The SDF is militarily led by the People's Protection Units, a mostly Kurdish militia. Whoa, that's a mix. That's a huge mix of nationalities and interests for sure.
At this base in Deir ez-Zor, American troops train local SDF forces on a daily basis. Today they're focusing on the fundamentals of how to use a rifle, so they're doing some target training and then also being taught about how to specifically use these guns in battle.
This Special Forces operator, whose name is being withheld to protect his identity, is part of a 12-man team of elite soldiers.
His chest.
They were deployed to the region in January to train Kurdish counter-terrorism units like these and to hunt down ISIS sleeper cells, small groups of Islamic State loyalists who who were hiding out in villages across the area.
What? بالنص على اليمين. Oh, he spoke, he's saying in the middle, but a little bit to the right. Woo, that American. Wow, they're actually learning Arabic. That's when you know. When the enemy knows your language, that's when you know that they're ready. Those oil fields need protecting. Lock and load. Yalla. Here we go. Hit him.
ISIS doesn't hold any territory here now, so they're working in decentralized zones, but they still have that influence in these local villages around here. So we're working with these guys.
Aside from...
Well, it's interesting. He's saying that they don't have any actual land, but they still have an influence in these local villages. What are you trying to do here? Are you trying to use military, guns, weapons, material assets to fight them? Or are you going to try to win the hearts and minds of the people and to have them understand why this is a bad idea, who ISIS is, what their goals are, and why they shouldn't join them? And so this is a little bit of a disconnect. It's like kind of putting a band-aid on a wound that needs stitches.
So the relationship is important not just for fighting, but in terms of intelligence gathering.
Correct, yeah. Syria is probably one of the more complex areas of operation that we have now. We have so many different players in this area. You have the Russians, the Iranians, pro-regime forces.
If there's any escalation...
Oh my God. Time and time again, I have to hear them saying the Iranians, the Iraqis. I don't understand why this is such a sticking point when it comes to pronouncing the country properly. It's Iran, it's Iraq. You don't have to say it that way, but it's E, not I. Forget the Arabic language or the Persian language. Let's just look at the English language. Give me a name, an English name. If we look at, let's say Ian, right? Ian, I-A-N. How would you pronounce that? Ian? No, you'd pronounce it Ian. So when I'm telling you I-R-A-N, why is it Iran and suddenly not Iran or Iran? Man, that drives me crazy.
It's all about the little victories, you know, maybe their intelligence brings in something, someone's phone or something, and then we can track those phone numbers that he's been in contact with.
I understand the dramatic effect of having them shooting in the background, but they could have probably just waited 1 minute so he can finish speaking. But I understand that they want to show the training and the intimidation factor here.
I would definitely say they are still an international threat, but I think if we leave this area, I think we're marching forward in a very precarious situation.
Like they even had to put subtitles because of the shooting that's going on in the background. Is ISIS still a threat? I mean, physically, maybe not, but the ideology, perhaps, and they're not fighting the ideology here. They're fighting physically. So what are we solving right now?
This is as important, if not more important, than the conventional battles that we had pushing ISIS out of this area. Enta, hon, hon, hon.
Inta, hon, hon, hon. More Arabic from our American brother.
You guys are getting better. Good job, guys.
Jazin. All right. Every time I watch a correspondent out in the field wearing a helmet, I just don't understand why they can never wear it properly. It's always crooked. It's always backwards. There's always something going on that just like drives me up the wall. I just don't understand why it's being worn like that.
They'll remain a threat, which is why they're carrying out patrols like this.
When you have foreign expertise coming to help such a mixed group, which is comprised of a bunch of militias trying to protect oil fields, but also not forgetting that we're trying to get rid of ISIS, but as long as we're protecting the oil fields first. And again, like I mentioned, fighting fire with fire is great, but I don't think this is the case right now. I think that this is an ideological war. I think that this is a war of hearts and minds, not of physical military assets, and this is what they seem to be bringing to the table. And they're helping out guys that may not be loyal to them anyways. They're helping out people with their own agendas. And so are they helping out the region truly from a band-aid versus stitches perspective, like I said about the wound? I don't know. I don't think so. You guys let me know what's up. The keepers of the Caliphate shall fall.